You're actually a very minority. And the stock market is really not created for you. It's created for the 95% of all the other people. And that's really where your opportunity is. And that's where your challenge is. And that's what I first learned when I came here and listened to Buffett. That's one thing that stick in my mind. And that really sort of helped me to position where I am, because I really know by then what kind of a person I am. Your biggest challenge is really to understand whether you're that 5% of the people or you're the 95% of the majority. And that's when I sort of get a much better understanding of how the 95% of other people really operated. It is tempting because, why 95% of the people don't do what you guys are here try to do, despite the spectacular success of Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. That's a statistic. Despite the huge discrepancy of a performance of that 5% have a spectacular return consistently over a long period of time. I want to leave with you is really to understand who you are, because you will be tested through all this period of time through your future career development, that you're going to really have to really face to ask yourself whether you're a value investor genetically mutated throughout the process of evolution, that you're very comfortable being in a minority, which is not really very natural to human beings. Throughout our human evolution process, that most of us survive because we stick with the group in face of large mammals. That's the only way we can survive. And so it is really over tens of thousands of years of evolution. It really is deeply ingrained into your genes. But occasionally you will find a small percentage of people really survive despite. So that's the first thing. You have to really be very comfortable, being very much by yourself. And therefore you would naturally adopt the attitude you're right, not because other people agree with you, but because your reason, your evidence are right. It is common sense. But of course, as people said, common sense is the least a common commodity. Most people don't think that way. And secondly, that you would probably spend most of your time truly being an academic researcher instead of a so-called professional investor. Most of the time you're going to spend as a professional investor, as a value investor, not a professional investor, is really to be an academic, to be a researcher, to be a journalist, actually, to basically have insatiable curiosity, to really and try to figure out how just about everything works.